Elden Ring is my first Souls game ever, and this is my first legitimate attempt for challenge run. I did my research about the game and spent around 200 hours in the game to get used to it. In this challenge run, I'm gonna be using throwing weapons, specifically using an Ash of War called Spectral Lance. So this Ash of War only applies on spears and it deals a huge amount of damage on enemy stands. But the downside is, it barely do any damage in general, so the only way to do a significant damage here is to Riposte. But that's not the only weapon I will use. As my support weapons, I pick light bow and consumables. These are my support items, which means I can only use them to inflict status effect, but the damage dealer is still the Spectral Lance. One more thing, since this is my first Souls game ever and I'm trash at it, not gonna lie, there will be a handicap screen like this, which means I can use spirit summons, but don't worry, it only applies on a late game bosses and I still prefer not to use them if I can. Alright, so no magic, no melee, please go easy on me guys. Here we go. Starting off with picking my class, and without any thinking involved, I pick Prophet right away because he has a spear as the main weapon. What I need to do right now is to get Spectral Lance, which located in Raya Lucaria Academy. Luckily it's pretty easy. Just have to kill the teardrop scarab on the graveyard. I used the incantation to kill it, but it doesn't count since I have to get the Spectral Lance anyway to start the run. After equipping the Spectral Lance on my short spear, I went straight away to fight Margitt. Of course he beat my ass. I always have problems with Margitt in the first place. I think I need to get more items to help me out, so I went to Kaylee to get Radagon Sword Seal. It boosts your Vigor, Endurance, Strength and Dex. These are the most important stats for my build in my opinion. I also acquired Margitt Shackle from Patches just in case I need it. Well, absolutely need it for the future encounters. Wink wink. I changed my weapons to Cross Naginata because it's a better spear and the location is quite accessible in Caelid, so I got it. But it has a certain requirement to be able to use it, so I have to farm some runes for a while. Upgrading my armors is also necessary since what I wear right now is too exposed and my nipples will get tickled by Margitt. Carrion armor set is the best choice currently and easy to get as well, so I switched mine with that set. So we're back on fighting Margitt. I think the fight wasn't that crazy. I just need some time to get used to my weapon, even though the casting time and recovery time of Spectral Lance is so slow. But you can always maintain your distance with Morgott. Since he's not that aggressive, you just have to be careful with his throwing needles though. The pattern is readable because it's the first boss anyway. You can break his stance for 5 shots, or if you hit his head, you can break it by only 3 shots. And there we go, I beat Margitt, and I'm into Godrick now. I picked the main gate because I don't want to waste time, dodge the arrows with Matrix style, talk to a girl, and here we are in front of Godrick's arena. Honestly, fighting Godrick is much easier than Margitt. You can shoot him from long range and he couldn't do anything except rolling. And because the whole arena is crowded with tombstones, he eventually will get stuck and that's a free damage for you. Most of his attacks are easy to dodge even on phase 2. I died like 3 times but I beat him anyway. After that, I went to Roundtable Hall to get these nuts armor and complete Vare's quest to get access to the best farming location in the game. So this is how I get the runes. Not the most effective way to do it, but that's what I can do right now. Also, I killed Godfrey the Grafted for the Godfrey icon talisman that I realized apparently it doesn't affect Spectral Lance, but it will come in handy later on. Strangely, The arrow's rich talisman affected the spectral lens in a good way, so I used this one instead. Now it's time to go against Rennala. But first, me against Redwolf Radagon is very agile. It can dodge the spectral lens if I threw it from far away. So I think the only safe openings is to shot it after it used its sword. I eventually kill it though, surprisingly. Okay, Rennala, here we go. There are a lot of problems with this fight. Because you have to focus when you throw it, sometimes when these juvenile scholar piles up with each other, it can be a little too difficult to aim. But the main problem on the first phase is took me at least 3 rounds to make Rennala turn into phase 2. Yeah, sometimes I died because of the human meteor as well. I have to save some of the flashes as well or I'm running out of FP. Also, I found a way to avoid her summons by running away and eventually they'll despawn. Sometimes I could see an opening when she summons something, but you have to shoot her fast enough before the focus switch to her summons. It's actually really annoying. Maintaining range is also important here because you can't shoot her mid-range, since her spells are usually long-range attacks, but getting too close to her is quite risky because she can summon right away. I think patience played a big role here. So this is the moment where the challenge becomes really challenging. Before entering Lindell, I have to take down this Draconic tree Sentinel, right? I cannot fight fair and square with him, but I also don't want to cheese him with Rod Pot or something. So what I did is shoot him once and run away. These took me like an hour, but I keep doing it to see if I can kill him this way. Well, this was going smoothly until the unexpected happened. I ran out of flask and my FP is empty. But because there is only a little health left, I used my light bow with serpent arrows and killed him. I think I could take him down without the bow if I leveled up more though, or maybe getting more golden seed would help too. So I entered Lindell, traveled through everything until I reached Godfrey. Well, this version of Godfrey is pretty easy. Creating distance is the key. The pattern is actually similar to Margitt though, but Godfrey has more openings in my opinion, and so I killed him pretty quick. Right, so before going against Morgott, I have to get this weapon called Bolt of Grandsax. Now because Grandsax's skill is throwing lightning of some sort, I'm allowed to use this weapon. Actually, I only use this weapon for farming runes though. Remember the Godfrey icon I got a while ago? I can use it to increase the damage of the Grandsax, so it can one-hit kill these guys. This makes my grind much easier than before. Okay, here we go against Morgott. As you can see, I got my ass handed to him multiple times, but I took some time to get used to his moves in the first place. I know you can cheese him with the Margitt Shackle, but I want to see if I can get over his moves in the first phase. Now with the cheese, things are more complicated than before. You can use Margitt Shackle a couple times and he won't be moving at all when you enter the arena. So what I can do here is shoot the spear every 8 seconds, so the poise breaking duration will be on cooldown. If I shoot the spear too fast, it will break his stance and he will move normally after that. Cheesing Morgott actually takes longer than fighting him normally in this run, and at this point I already get used to his moves. Jumping to his second phase, and oh man, I don't think I can beat him at all. There is only a small window of opening and he become a bit too unpredictable in my opinion. He will 100% dodge your spear if you throw it from far distance, but if you're in his attack range, which is pretty wide, he will be very aggressive and keep striking you. There is only one time that he created a couple openings, but I died anyway. Okay, so this is one of the time I put my handicap screen on. I summoned Melina for help. I know, summoning is a blasphemy, but I want to check if this is really a game changer. Actually, when it comes to Morgott, Melina doesn't change anything. She doesn't deal any damage against Morgott, but she is really helpful to distract Morgott. Melina took the final hit at the end because I don't think I deserve it. But if the question, can you solo Morgott in this challenge run? Probably you can, but it's gonna take forever, at least for me. Fire Giant is next. If I recall on how much time I spent to beat this thing, probably the whole freaking day. This is the most teeth grinding moment in this playthrough because, you know, Fire Giant has a ginormous amount of health, and for the first phase, it took me quite a while since you can't Riposte him in any way. So I changed the rules. I'm able to hit his dirty feet when I break his stance, but I still have to use Spectral Lance when he got up. This took me a couple hours and decided to take a break. So I went to Redmane's castle to fight Radahn instead. I leveled up even more and upgraded my arsenal to full set of Lionel's armor. Also, I forgot to mention I already have the arsenal charm to increase my equip load so I can wear this heavy armor. Compared to Morgott or Fire Giant, this fight is pretty calm. I just have to stay away from him whenever I'm gonna shoot him, and he has this specific move when he slams the ground multiple times and followed by a lightning wave. It's a really big opening to shoot 2 or 3 more spears. Second phase, I don't really see any difference except the glitch was not working for me, or I did it wrong. I don't know. But I don't really care since I could take him down by fighting him normally anyway. Yeah, no summon at all, let's go. While being distracted from Fire Giant, I killed the Magma Worm and Loretta along the way. Alright, let's go back to that extinct species. Because I still died from him hundreds of times and barely progressed to his second phase, I decided to call my friends on the Discord to accompany me. We talked about the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp case for like an hour, but yeah, anyway, I made a small progress here. Reaching phase 2 of Fire Giant. This is where things get more difficult. For some reason, his only stance weakness is his giant eye in the middle. But I couldn't aim for the eye and the focus always shifted to his hands. This doesn't mean you cannot break his stance at all, but the duration gap is impossible on phase 2, since he's rolling away like every time. I tried to summon my friend to help me and also using Mimic Tier, but they didn't work. And you're probably wondering why the handicap screen isn't on right now, since I summoned them, right? Yes, because at the end, I beat Fire Giant solo, baby. I just have to keep taking cover under his crotch and just attack slowly. All of his attacks are easily dodgeable as long as you take cover between his legs. Apparently it's working. Yes, it took me exactly a day and my entire flask, but hey, it's very satisfying honestly. I can say I finally wiped that entire race. Now that he's done, we can continue to Farum Azula. But you know what? I'ma put the handicap screen right away because these bosses is just straight BS. There is no way to fight fair and square without help or cheesing them. To be fair, summoning Burnhal or Mimic Tier didn't really change anything, because you have to be the damage dealer at the end of the day. I tried using the Sleep's arrow, but it doesn't have enough build up to keep them sleeping, and so I was forced to use the Sleep Pot, which works super well. Even with Sleep Pot, I have to summon Burnhal for distractions because we have to kill one of them before the other has a chance to wake up. I think the challenge ends here since I absolutely couldn't do anything about them. But I want to see how I do against the rest of the bosses. So I still continue the playthrough to see if I can beat the rest of the bosses, and the next one is Malekith. Speaking about the unpredictable boss, Malekith is one of them. I couldn't see an opening at the beginning and shooting spears took a lot amount of seconds, and I usually got at least a single hit from him whenever I cast the Spectral Lance. The recovery time of Spectral lens is so slow and Malekith always hit me on that certain range. I couldn't distance myself from him since he always running towards me and he's fast. Before we continue, I acquired the warrior jar shard from accidentally killing Alexander, since I already messed up his quest, so there is no way I could get the shard of Alexander, but that's okay though. But yeah, back on fighting Malekith. Sometimes I was lucky enough to reach second phase, but I still couldn't land multiple shots on him. He moves faster and jumps a lot. This made me miss my shot every time, and most of the time I got killed by the all-round slashing move he has. You can actually deal a significant amount of damage by throwing a rod pot on his second phase, but I still couldn't get a perfect timing to throw, except in the beginning of phase 2, putting my handicap screen again because I used Mimic Tear. And yeah, I beat him. I think having a distractions is really a game changer. Right, Mr. Gideon of Nir is next. Never in my life I'm having trouble with this guy, but because I use a slow throwing javelin on my hand, apparently my life becoming more difficult. Yeah, I died a couple times, but fighting a Tarnished type NPC always been a problem with me using Spectral Lance, because it's so easy for them to dodge. But at the end, I clap his all-knowing ass and turn him into ashes, just like the rest of the capital city. Godfrey on the other hand is really fun to fight though. It's not easy obviously, but I feel I can see his attack pattern just like before. He was doing more AoE attacks this time, but they are very easy to dodge. I have no problem on his first phase. I almost got like 0 hits from it, but his second phase though, oh boy. There was no way I can land a single hit, because he's more relentless than Malekith. Hoarah look will charge you non-stop and there isn't a single window of openings. The recovery time from Spectral Lance is really punishing this time, and Hoarah look do a lot of grab attacks, which in this case I'm struggling to avoid. But yeah, then again, the challenge is already ended and I'm sure I cannot beat Hoarah look alone, but with Mimic Tear everything is doable. Actually, not really though. The last one is Radagon, and I'm gonna show you how everything is going. To be fair, because of the slow casting time, I can say 100% beating Radagon is impossible. He's too unpredictable, his openings usually led to punishments, and his lightning shots are annoying. This time, even Mimic Tear couldn't handle him. I think Elden Beast would be much easier compared to Radagon according to my previous playthrough. Yeah, long story short, I left Radagon to someone that can beat him, and he's amazing. We finally beat Radagon and Elden Beast, thanks to the last hit is for you for carrying my ass. So I guess that's the end of it. Honestly, this is my very first time doing this challenge. It's actually recommended from my friends, and me playing the first Souls game ever in my entire life. I can say I love Elden Ring. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Leave a like if you like it, leave a dislike if you don't. Also, let me know what you think about this playthrough, and please Please, if you have any advice, let me know in the comments down below so I can learn more about Elden Ring and probably get good at the end of the day. Alright, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.